you have in like 3 seconds. I think we're live now. Okay, hey guys, we got Ra Castaldo with us, my good buddy Ra. He's going to be doing some crystal readings for you guys tonight, but we're going to get into a bunch of esoteric topics, and we're going to talk about the astral and all kinds of stuff. So I'm going to play the intro, and we're going to get started. It's going to be a great show, so buckle up. And okay, am I muted? Okay, there we go. And guys, just remember, just remember to subscribe, whether it's on here or on YouTube. I don't know if you can hear me right now because it's playing this thing over again. But if you can hear me, subscribe on YouTube, subscribe on Rumble. Remember to hit the notification bell so you know when I go live. And remember to like the video. Remember to like it on here and on Rumble. It goes a long way. And my guest tonight is, as I said, he's one of my best friends. He's Ra Castaldo. And I wrote tonight, Ra Castaldo, my good friend Ra Castaldo runs for a night of deep esoteric exploration and live crystal readings. Ra is a mystic, poet, gridworker. He was a former Muay Thai fighter. He was born inside the call. He was born from a Strega bloodline of hidden knowledge, and he spent decades studying ancient civilizations, dream realms, and the matrix of reality. And tonight we're going to get into the astral, which we were talking a little bit before we went live. But we'll also talk about, he'll be doing crystal matrix readings where he'll pair you up with what crystal he thinks is right for you, live insights and energetic transmissions. Esoteric Gnosis will be decoding hidden truths from ancient mystery schools. The Goddess of 10,000 Names, wisdom from divine feminine across cultures, and mystical stuff as well. Connecting ley lines, earth energies, and spiritual portals. Ra's work bridges myth, dream, and direct gnosis, offering guidance for those walking a path of awakening. And you can find his website at themysticalspiralstore.com. And you can also go to his YouTube channel, which is Exploring the Call with Ra. And with all that said, I'd like to give him a big warm welcome back to the show. Ra, thanks so much for coming back on, man. How are you, dude?
Thanks for having me, Rob. It's good to be here. It's great to see you, brother.
Yeah, it's likewise.
How was your day so far?
Oh, pretty good, man. It's another day in paradise. You know what I mean? Like,
How's your mom doing?
Well, she's gonna get surgery soon, so she's gonna get that. Hopefully, she's gonna get the cancer cut out of her. You know what I mean? So,
well, at least they caught it early. It's
I hope so, right?
For sure. If it's not even, it's stage 0 or something, right? You said?
Yeah. But me, I have a lump on my my ankle, but I'm prone to cysts, right? Like I have cysts, like I have cysts on me, and then they did an MRI on it, and then the doctor called
around?
me. What's that?
Does the lump move around?
A little bit, yeah. Like they did an MRI on it, and then he wanted me to come in today to talk to him about it. But then I went in, and they said I went to the wrong doctor's office. I went to the place where I went to get checked out eventually, but then they said I had to go to another part of Pittsburgh to get checked. I mean, I was like, man, this is crazy. But then my mom said to me, she was like, the doctor might just want to make money. You know, they call you in for like a check. I'm hoping that's what it is, and I'm hoping it's not something serious. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I've had even a lump on my forearm right here. Like right here, it's a big one, but I can move it around.
Yeah.
Like, and I think it's like sometimes you develop that. Like I think mine even like might have, when I used to carry my daughter around a lot when she was younger. I used to always carry her like with that arm. I would hold her around. I think something might have developed like that. I'm not sure, but mine I could like move it around, push it from one end to the other like a bubble. Mine's like almost like a bubble here.
Yeah.
But I mean, people that have Mediterranean in them, they're prone to, as they get older, like they get more like skin things, skin tags, skin cysts, things like that.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's common. You can ask your doctor; he'll tell you. Yeah, people like a lot of people that have Italian or Mediterranean or that type of. Yeah, they're prone as the men and women get older to get things like that. The little brown skin tags and brown marks.
Dude, I'm all Mediterranean. That's like all my ethnicities, except I have a little bit of Irish in me too. But I mean, like, mostly I'm Mediterranean, between like being Italian and Lebanese and Greek and shit,
Me too. Yep, I'm all Mediterranean. My family's from northern Italy to Sicily and then northern Africa. That whole area.
Wow.
Yep. Yeah.
Wow,
Like
that's really,
my mom's family was for sure mixed with the Moors, the North African tribe. Like my mom's maiden name was Di Maro, which means of the Moors.
wow.
And
That's interesting.
they were a North African tribe, like freaking, like a black tribe.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. They were like voodoo type shit too. They were serious.
Voodoo? For real?
Yeah. Wars, yeah. Yeah. They invaded Sicily and controlled Sicily for a while. My family and some people that were either named that. So my family was either owned by the Moors, mixed with the Moors, or at one time they were named that because they had very dark skin. That could have been it as well. Because like when you say di Moro in Italian, it could mean you're of the dark or of the Moors. Right. What's interesting too is my grandparents, like my great grandmother's maiden name was Santa Bianco, right? Which is Saint White, literally means Saint White, her name, right? She married my great grandfather. His name was Vincenzo di Moro, which means Vincent Dark, Vincent of the Dark. So Vincent of the Dark married Saint White. It was freaking like the white, the light and the dark, like So my great grandmother's name was Santa Bianco, which means like Saint White Light,
You know what's
Saint Light.
crazy, dude? Like my mom's side, the Italian side, we have family that's named Bianco. They're that what we call them Bianco. It's Bianco. Well, that's like the Americanized slang
Yeah,
for it, or But yeah, but it's not anything. It's just Bianco. Like I have a cousin. Her name's Amy Bianco. You know what I mean? Like
is it
and
Bianco? Bianco?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's interesting. We might be related.
Maybe, right? And how crazy would that be if we were like, that would
Yeah,
be
that's
insane, dude.
my
That would make a lot of
that's
sense,
my
though.
that's my great grandmother's maiden name.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah. That's crazy. Was it just Bianco like that? Like, like I said, like,
Bianco.
Bianco or whatever?
Yep, Bianco, like that.
Dude, that's
BIAN.
crazy. Dude, maybe we are related, like, who
And
knows? That
my
would make
great
a lot of
grandmother on that side, my great grandmother's name was Bianco, and then my grandmother's name was Di Moro, and then it was my mom now, and then my mom's name, she married my father, so it became Castaldo. But yeah, it's we were from being yeah, my great grandmother was Bianco, and then my grandmother was Di Moro because she married. It changed, but yeah, that
wow.
that's it's interesting that those two married each other too. Like Di Moro married Bianco because one means of the dark and one means of the light.
Yeah, that's insane, dude.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Like, like that's we already had a question from the audience. This is from Service Planet Radio. He says, I don't know if you know what he means. He says, Ron, Rob, I'm interested in the tree on the lake. Where is that lake located? I don't know what he's talking about.
What tree on the lake?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure what he means. I'm not sure.
Lake Nemi? Is he talking about Lake Nemi?
I think his name's Eric. Eric, if you could tell us what you mean.
Because I didn't mention a tree or a lake in this since we've been talking right now. If he's talking about something previously that I've talked about before, maybe, but since I mean me and you've been live for like 10 minutes. I don't remember mentioning a lake or a tree.
Yeah.
So
when you said Lake Nemi, he said maybe. He said maybe. Yeah.
Oh, the Lake of Memory that I wrote the song about?
I don't know.
Or the
Lake
lake.
Nemi. He said yes. He said
Oh
Lake
yeah,
Nemi.
he's talking. Okay, so he's talking about Lake Nemi. So what is he? Can you be a little bit more specific about Lake Nemi? What he's interested in about? So Lake Nemi, for people that don't know, it's about, I don't know, 16 to 19 miles from the Vatican, from Rome, from the Vatican, and it's in the Alban, what they call the Alban Hills. It's in Lazio, right? That's I think in the area is Lazio right there, but that area that they have the town of Nemi right there, right. The Alban Hills. It's a volcanic hill, ancient volcanic hills, and Lake Nemi itself is a volcanic crater that was made into a lake. It's not a natural lake. It's naturally a volcanic crater, and it was made into a lake, and it's been famous for thousands of years as a window to the netherworld. It's even called Diana's mirror because the way the full moon reflects on the lake and how it's supposed to open up a window to the other world, right? Well, there's a sacred forest, a sacred grove alongside Lake Nemi, and it's in the Alban Hills there. And there's been sacred temples there that existed thousands of years ago on the northern side of the lake. And you can get a book right here by The Golden Bow by Sir James Fraser. You can get The Golden Bow by Sir James Fraser, and that book actually talks about Lake Nemi. This book was written, I think, in the late 1800s first. This copy's from 1980, but yeah, this was first written in 1890. The Golden Bow by Sir James Fraser, and right at the beginning of the book, this talks about Lake Nemi and the area of Nemi and the woods there. So, Rob, check this out. So, this sacred grove of Lake Nemi, there would be the Lady of the Lake that was called Egeria. She was like the mystical nymph goddess of the fairies type, because this is a magical sacred grove around Lake Nemi. And there actually was certain Roman emperors, like I think it was Caligula, who built barges on Lake Nemi. He had these huge barges on Lake Nemi at one time too. He used to have like orgies on these barges in Lake Nemi. And during the time of Mussolini, actually, they drained majority of the lake, and they found remnants of these barges. They had marbled floors. I mean, this was thousands of years ago. Bathrooms on this ship.
Wow.
Right, yeah. And so check this out. Not only did they have the Lady of the Lake that could be summoned, but they had a sacred grove where originally a giant called Verbius would guard this grove, right? And he could be summoned. And they had the Rex Nemerensis, who was the king of the woods, and it would be this cloaked figure that would appear like with a sword, and he would be a defender of the woods. And to become the next Red Nemerensis, you'd have to kill this defender of the forest. And if you killed him, you became the king of the woods, and it's sort of like a pope type of figure, like you're this magical king of the grove. And this tradition went on for a long period of time, and sort of the Roman emperor type of position where you like one has to die to become a new one. That sort of took place of that, and the Pope is sort of like that as well. And in fact, it's said that the popes, they go on these secret, they take these secret missions into the woods of Lake Nemi and do sacred rituals at these ancient temples and these ancient and at Nemi, and supposedly there's a sacred tree alongside Lake Nemi where that tree is like a doorway to the underworld, right? And there's been all sorts of tales that go throughout Italy about trees being either accessing another world or being able to lock down evil between trees. Did we talk about it with the walnut trees on your show?
No.
So in ancient Italy, there were two sacred walnut trees that were associated with the Strega bloodlines. There was one not near Lake Nemi, but not far. Actually, it's pretty far. It's more near Naples. Well, there's one also in the Piazza del Popolo, which is more close. So the older one, there's two times there were these walnut trees that were basically used by Strega bloodlines to lock down evil, right? So what's interesting is that now the church has hijacked these spots, put put ancient Egyptian obelisks on top of them, right in Rome, right all over Italy, and probably I would say release the evil that was locked down there. So we had an ancient walnut tree in Benevento, Italy. This is about maybe like an hour from Naples, and in Benevento, for hundreds of maybe thousands of years, sacred strega bloodlines would gather to this walnut tree. It was a gathering place for rituals, for witches, for mystics, right? And this was before Christianity. This was before, there was Islam. This was before there was,
the Abrahamic religions, basically. It was before the Abrahamic religion.
Yeah, all of that. They were connected to nature and the environment and the cosmic consciousness that's connected to nature, right? So basically, this one walnut tree in Benevento, Italy, it wasn't just a gathering place for rituals and things like that. They had what both the light and the dark sides, the benindante and the malandante, they had made a deal together where they locked it down in ancient evil. I'm guessing it's most likely disembodied spirits of the Rephaim, the giants of the Bible, right? These wandering ghosts that were infecting the Mediterranean area, right? So it's specifically, they locked down an evil beneath this sacred walnut tree in Benevento, Italy. And the different hereditary bloodlines would come from all over the Mediterranean, all over Italy, and meet periodically at this walnut tree for thousands of years, right? So this was taking place for a very long time. Benevento, Italy. You can look it up, walnut tree, right? And in 662 AD, right, this walnut tree was cut down by the church, right? This also happened again in 1099 AD with one of the Roman emperors, and we'll get into that in a minute. But that's when they released Nero's bones from beneath the tree. That's another part. So in 662 AD, this tree basically was controlled by the Lombards. They were all pagans, all strega, right? And they were still carrying out those rituals where they would meet periodically throughout the year, and they would do these spiral dances around this tree and hang things from the tree. And supposedly there would be a snake that would appear on the branch, and they would do these like low metered guttural chants, like zoo, 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 and they would do these spiraling rituals going, it's like a sound technology, like a mantra, and they would do these spiral dances around the tree. Now, the church, of course, thought this was demonic activity and that they're evil. And what was happening, though, these hereditary bloodlines, both the ones that were doing good and bad, they would meet for the sake of keeping this ancient evil contained throughout the year and work together at these times, right? And do these. But as the Christianity came in, and as things started getting more, people started thinking it was just lore and it wasn't real anymore. Less and less people started to believe in this, and the rituals started to be, less and less people started gathering for this and coming around, right? And Christianity started to come in, and the evil started to leak out. It started to present itself, right? And because less and less people were believing it. And finally, in 662 AD, this guy Barbato, he was like the friar, the town, I don't know what you would call him. He was like the main priest of the area for the church, right? And they ended up calling him Saint Barbato now, Saint Barbatus, and he became a saint. I don't think he's a saint on the main list of saints for the Catholic Church, but he's a localized saint. Like sometimes they have saints in some regions that they don't use, like on the main calendar of saints, but he's called Saint Barbato now. This guy Barbatos, he basically cut down this walnut tree that was containing the evil, and he friggin' converted all the Lombards, like the Duke of Benevento, all those people. He converted them. He cut down the walnut tree. Supposedly he made the walnut tree some of the wood from it, he made it into like items for the church, like for people that like pews for the church to sit in, or an altar or whatever. And then he melted down their sacred chalice that they had. It was like a serpent thing that they had, and he melted that down, and he converted everybody. So he literally released the evil that was already not even barely being contained anymore, because people stopped believing in it, and they completely released the evil. And the hereditary bloodlines, they saved the seeds from the walnut tree and tried to replant them and bring it back. But I mean, this happened again, Rob, too, in 1099 AD. What's now the Piazza del Popolo, right? This happened again in what's now the Piazza del Popolo. There once was an ancient walnut tree in that plaza. Now they have 3 churches there. They have a sacred ancient Egyptian obelisk on the spot. But 1,000 or so years ago, before that, there was a sacred walnut tree there, and everybody thought it was a myth that Nero's bones were buried beneath this walnut tree. And what happened was, when Emperor Nero when he was an emperor, he was infected with an evil, right? Most likely he was possessed by some sort of Rephaim spirit, right? So when Nero, I don't know, I don't remember if he was killed, or I think he might have actually unalived himself at the on the Tiber River. I think he it was by his own hand, if I don't remember correctly. But
I'll look it up. But you know what? People said that about Caligula too. My uncle was Italian, and my uncle told me when I was like a teenager, when I was starting to become a man, he told me about the story of Caligula, and I was like, holy shit, man! Like,
Caligula was crazy.
My uncle was like one of the first people that kind of got me into ancient history. He wasn't like as well versed as you, but he knew about like the basic, you know what I mean? He knew about Caligula. I mean, he knew more than your average person, you know what I mean? But he didn't know, he wasn't like, you know what I mean? I don't know.
Yeah. So cool. The same kind of thing that happened in Benevento with the walnut tree, there was a similar one where they locked down the evil of Emperor Nero underneath this walnut tree. And they planted this walnut tree on top of Nero's bones. And the same thing, they would meet at this walnut tree for hundreds of years. They were meeting at this walnut tree to keep the evil of Nero's bone, that they encased in Nero's bones and buried. But they literally locked down the Emperor Nero's evil, the evil that was infecting Emperor Nero. They locked it down into his bones with a spell and buried it beneath this walnut tree. Buried the walnut tree they planted on top of it, and the walnut tree grew huge. And everybody, after time passed, hundreds of years passed, everybody thought it was even a myth that Nero was even buried beneath there. So as time passed, less and less people started believing in it. And all of a sudden, that area of the Piazza del Popolo started to be infected with evil. People were getting attacked by poltergeists. There was all sorts of evil all over the area. So when Pope Paschal II, it's spelled Paschal, Pope Paschal II, when he came into office to be Pope, he came in 1099 AD. The night before he became Pope, he said he had a vision in his dream that the Virgin Mary came to him and said that he needs to chop down that walnut tree. Right? So the first day he became Pope, he got a procession of cardinals, and they walked down to what's now the Piazza del Popolo, and they cut down that walnut tree. And as soon as they said that he took an axe to that tree and chips started flying off the tree, there was a wind that threw people back, right? Like some supernatural awakening came into him, right? And then they ripped this tree out of the ground, and they found Nero's bones beneath the tree. They thought it was just a myth. So they end up doing an exorcism on Nero's bones and throwing them in the Tiber River, right? And so I think they actually released the evil that was in Nero, and it came into Pope Paschal II, and he brought that back into the church with him, right? So that's incredible. So that's part of the lore of the Strega bloodlines. Lake Nemi doesn't have to do with those walnut trees, but Lake Nemi has a huge lore about connected to the goddess Diana, and all sorts of ancient tribes and cults of Aradia, and all the different cults of Strega would are connected to different places in Italy, like the Sibyl of Cumea in Naples, the Benevento walnut tree, Lake Nemi, and then also in Tuscany in areas like Volterra and different places like that. So you had all these different hereditary families that were passing down ancient wisdom that came from all over the world, because that area of the Mediterranean is a crossroads for trade. It's a crossroads for so many different races, and you had so many people came over there and fought over Sicily, and so it's a very, very unique mix of DNA in the Mediterranean.
Wow, that's so interesting. That is. That's Surface Planet Radio wants to know: did Nero insert himself in the Bible?
Did Nero insert himself in the Bible? I don't even know if he's mentioned. I don't think he's mentioned in the Bible. I'm not sure. He might be. I don't think so. Yeah. No, he's not mentioned in the Bible.
I didn't think so. I don't know.
No. I don't think he's mentioned in the Bible. He might be, is he? You can look it up.
I don't think so. I can look it up. Let me see. I'll ask ChatGPT. But you were right. He did kill himself. He did.
Yeah, I think he killed himself along the Tiber River. And then they took his bones and they locked down his bones and buried him beneath the walnut tree in the Piazza del Popolo. And right now, after that happened, now today, they have, I think, like three churches in that Piazza del the Piazza del Popolo. There's like three churches, if I'm not mistaken, in that plaza. And they also have one of the ancient obelisks from Egypt right on top of the spot where the walnut tree once stood. So that's incredible.
Wow, that's
incredible.
So cool.
The church hijacked that evil that was locked down in that spot, and now it's broadcasting it with a granite obelisk with a cross on top of it.
Wow. One thing we were going to get into tonight was the goddess of 10,000 names. Did you want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, that has a lot to do. That title, I mean, it's an interesting title. It has a lot to do with the energy that's on the planet right now. And I think people don't realize what these ancient goddesses and gods actually were. People tend to think they were people, or like these men or man or women, but they had to do with like the creation, the universal creation forces, right? They had to do with all the cosmic forces that bring things into creation, right? The cosmic waters, the cosmic winds, the cosmic mists, all these different elements combining to form creation, right? And that's what the goddess is, right? The goddess energy. One of the oldest names that we have for the goddess is the Canaanite goddesses, right? And the Canaanite Asherah, one of the oldest of the goddesses, right? And she was married to El, the chief god of El. And El actually comes from a much older El, and that's Vedic, and the Vedic Sanskrit El, and that's actually spelled Il, like Il, right? Il, right? And Il is also can be put at as El, right? And this is where you have, like, in the Mesopotamian area, right? You have that word is used Il is used as El, and El is where you get like the Elamites, the Phoenicians use it, the Syrians, the Hebrews, the Arabs. I mean, it might be the most common name that you have for the divine. All the Semitic peoples use it, and it comes right from Vedic. It's perhaps, if not the most ancient, it's one of the most ancient names for God, and one of the most original universal words that we have of all the ancient languages that have been preserved throughout time. Right, it's one of the most important names for the divine is Il or El. Right, and in the Rig Veda, it's used in so many different chants and mantras, like the Elam Varuna, the Mitra Elam, right? All these different ones. They combine these, these different chants and different words, and this is where you get the main Islamic chant to Allah. It comes Allah comes right from El and Il. Is where you get Allah. Right, it comes right from that. And they come from the Islamic chants. They come from Vedic verses to Mitra, to Varuna, to Il, all of these. And the Vedic land of Manu, like the ancient land of Manu, is called Ila Varta, right? Ila, the region of Ila, right? Or the region of Saraswati. These are the regions of where we emerge from the cosmic waters, right? And this is the ancient word of goddess and god come from these ancient names. And the goddess is literally the goddess of 10,000 names. The Sekhmet alone has hundreds, if not thousands, of names for Sekhet, right? There's all these different epithets and verses with all these different names. And you have people all over the Middle East that have different names for goddess, from Astarte to Inanna, Ishtar. The Persians had one called Anahita, the goddess of the waters, right? You have Ashtaroth, Anath, and of course Asherah being one of the oldest. Actually, Anath is the daughter of Asherah. And if you look into like the Canaanites, right? The goddess of the Canaanites, Asherah, her and El are the two gods. El is the chief god, and Asherah, of course, is the lady of the sea. El is the god of the heavens. So when you look at the god of the heavens and the lady of the sea, she's the lady of the cosmic waters, and the lady of the cosmic waters, and the god of the heavens, and they're coming together as sound and light, and bringing together these cosmic waters, and bringing together sound with these waters, and bringing matter into creation, right? That's what all of these gods and goddesses have to do. And when you look at the word for in ancient in Vedic, right, the word for like the waters, it goes hand in hand with like being the word for the, it means like also word, like, so to bring into creation is also like to bring it through sound, like, so like the same word that they use for like it's the abbreviation is actually NAU, which can mean like where we get nautical from, right? So like when the Vedic word for boat, right, basically is NAU, right? So, but that also means word. So like the solar boat, the solar waters that brings in creation is also through thought, it's through prayer, right? So basically you have our prayers, our thoughts connected to the streams of light and the cosmic waters that are connected to the spinal current of who we are, right? And this is the basic of the Vedic principles, and all the Rig Veda and all of the Vedic traditions is about us being from the waters and emerging from the solar waters, and being creation from the waters. And this is how the goddess works.
Wow, that's
I hope
fascinating.
I hope I didn't get you bored.
No, this is really interesting, man. It's interesting, like that how the goddess has multiple names throughout cultures. That's like, so is it the same throughout pantheons, like the Greek, the Roman, the Egyptian, the Mesopotamian? Is that kind of what
Yeah,
you're saying?
they just have different names, right? But it's what understanding what they really mean is I think people misunderstand it. Like with certain gods in Vedic, um, and with mythology in general, they gave them very earthly attributes, earthly names, and earthly stories, so people could remember them through oral traditions and pass them down. But most of them are containing and veiling cosmic and secret knowledge about the universe and nature. And there's universal symbolisms that come, right, when there's certain symbols that the cosmos makes that are universal when you see them, right? People that know astrophysics, people that know plasma physics, they'll see certain symbolisms, and if you show them certain mythology and certain petroglyphs, they'll be like, whoa, wow, you know what I mean? But it would take you to know the background, because like that's why I took many years in mythology, and then I also have a background in astronomy and plasma physics and things like this, because it takes someone who has a background in ancient writings and ancient symbolism to notice that there's a universal language with this symbolism, and they're showing some of the basic principles of electricity and magnetism that take place in the universe, right? And they have a name for a lot of these things, like even the plasma beings that we're seeing now, that I've had communication with, that I've even got on video, those plasma orbs, right?
Yeah.
Even me and my buddy Laird Scranton was talking about this. In ancient Egyptian, they talk about him, even the Dogon of Africa. In ancient Egyptian, they called these plasmoids the Aku, right? AKHU, which basically means beings of light, right? They're these plasma type beings of light, guardians of light, right? They're a basic condition of this planet that has always been here, right? They're like plasma balls, right? They're beings of light. And if you look all through mythology, they're talking about species of plasma. It's another stage of matter, right? We're a certain stage of matter. Well, plasma is another stage of matter, right? You have solids, you have liquids, you have gases, you have but you have plasmas, right? There's different species, right? When they're talking about the jinn in Muslim, like the jinn, right? Genies, the jinn, right? They're described as smokeless fire from the cosmos. This is a plasma, right? This is a light, a fire from the cosmos that's unseen. You can't see plasmas in space unless you go into soul form, unless you're in spirit form, unless you have certain things that NASA uses to detect, certain telescopes that they use with certain instruments on it to detect the plasma.
Well, wait,
right?
but didn't they say that the jinn had like evil or trickster energies to them? Like,
Yeah, dude, there's all sorts of species out there, right? All sorts of species, and they're talked about right in right in Vedic, right? In Vedic, you have the Maruts, right? They're called the Maruts, Maruts, the Maruts, right? Even in the Quran, they use that word, the Harut and the Marut. There are these two angels that come down in the Quran, where the Maruts are the children. They're like these storm. They're like the attendants of the gods. They're like sort of like the gods' messengers, right? But the Maruts are storm gods, right? They're like punishing storm gods, but they come from a fire of wind. They come from Rudra, and Rudra basically is the howl of the solar wind. Rudra in Vedic and Sanskrit, he's basically the howling force that's coming from the sun, right? The roaring force of the solar wind. And the Maruts are bearing these golden rings, as they're described. They're basically coronal mass ejections, solar storms that are coming from the sun, and the intelligence that guides these solar storms, right? There's all sorts of living beings that are carrying out the orchestra of the cosmos.
yeah, and I just wanted to say real quick. I looked up storm gods, and some of the examples of storm gods were Zeus was a storm god, Thor was a storm in the Norse was a storm, Indra in Hindu was a storm god, Adad or Baal in Mesopotamian was a storm god, and then Egyptian was
Baal. Baal, Baal or Baal. He's the son of El and Asherah. So you have El and Asherah, El and Asherah are the chief gods of the Canaanites. They had 70 children, right? The 70 children are some of the ones that are the most popular are Baal, Anath, and Mot, M-O-T, Mot. You have another Mot in Egyptian that's M-A-A-T,
M-A-A-T. Yeah,
right? But
yeah.
no, in the Canaanites, you have one of the sons of El and Asherah is Mot, M-O-T, right? You also have Yam. You have different ones, and the main ones of El and Asherah that we hear of mostly are Anath, Baal, Mot, ones like that. But what's interesting about this is check this out. So you have El and Asherah, who are the chief gods. They have 70 children, right? Baal being among them. That makes 72 in all. And what did I tell you? That these are not people, these are creation forces. So that number 72 is a number of creation, right? It appears in all sorts of religions, it appears in all sorts of cosmological tradition, it appears in all sorts of symbols. It's all throughout the Kabbalah. All these 72 names of God in the Kabbalah. You have 72 nations that had to do with the languages of the Tower of Babel that fell down. You had 72 generations of Noah. You had Confucius from China, who had 72 disciples, right? You had all of this 72. And also, when it has to do with creation, do you realize that when it has to do with the precession of the equinoxes and cosmic time, the sun literally moves 1 degree every 72 years, right? So that links this number 72 to the cosmic cycles of creation and change, right? It's literally when it comes to equinoxes, right? The precession of the equinoxes, the wobble of the Earth's axis causes the position of the sun at the vernal equinox to shift westward against the fixed stars. So this shift occurs at a rate of approximately 1 degree every 72 years. So the number 72 is directly linked to the grand cosmic cycle. It's associated with the shift into the age of Aquarius and the goddess of emerging, right? And the goddess returning and the age of Aquarius returning, right? This is you know all 72 literally represents in the Chinese culture the supreme, right? It's has to do with grand cycles. So when you even see the 72 Goetia demons, I mean, there's so many I could come up with, right? There, that number's in there, and that has to do with also the children of Anath and El. There's 70 children, and combined with the parents, Anath and El, that's 72. And Lady Asherah, she was Lady Asherah of the cosmic waters, right? And her domain was the cosmic sea, and her husband was El, and his domain was the heavens. He domained over the heavens, and Asherah was the cosmic waters inside the heavens, and she was the supreme goddess who had Baal. See, Baal is not just a storm god; he's also a fertility god. He's also he's also a war god, right? They all go hand in hand, right? All of these there's dual meanings to these gods, right? Just like you have another version of sometimes it's used with Asherah and Anath. You have Astarte, right? You have Anath. I mean, excuse me, Asherah. She's used at least 40 times in the Bible. That goddess name. In fact, when the prophet Elijah, when he has this showdown with the priests of Baal, right? There's 400 prophets of Asherah there. There's 450 prophets of Baal there. And the Baal prophets have a duel with Elijah, who's the prophet of Yahweh. And they have to light Yahweh's altar on fire by prayer, right? So, of course, the priests of Baal can't do this. But Elijah, by uttering one word, plasma, lightning comes out of the sky and lights the altar of Yahweh on fire.
What? Are you serious? This is
Yeah.
insane.
Yeah. And then not only that, but then he took, this is God's prophet, Yahweh, right? Elijah. And Elijah actually was taught by Ahijah, who was another prophet that taught Elijah, right? So when Elijah beats the priests of Baal or Baal, right, he leaves the Asherah prophets alone. But the priests, the prophets of Baal, he takes them down to the river of Gihon and slaughters them all. He has them slaughtered, sacrificed, right? And then after that, they brought armies against Elijah, and he brought down fire from the sky and eliminated these armies, right? And then when Elijah's time was up on the earth, he never died. A chariot of fire took him out off the planet. Literally a chariot of fire. So I think he was a solar priest, right? He was an ancient solar priest, descended from these solar bloodlines and solar dynasties, and he had knowledge of how to chant and how to utter sacred words to call down solar storms and channel solar storms. And he was literally calling down the finger of God, the hand of God, the lightning of God, right? He was able to do this. And ancient Vedic priests, they had the knowledge that the Asura and Deva clans had the knowledge to do this. You had Inanna, right? Inanna would, and Ishtar. Ishtar was known as Ishtar, as sometimes Ishtar of the battlefield, right? Ishtar was known to carry the Melamu headwear, which Ishtar was described as being clad in divine fire, and she would carry the Melamu headwear and rain down fire on the battlefield and destroy her enemies with fire from the sky, right? So this is well known that they're fire gods, they're storm gods, they're the sweet. She was also known as the sweet-voiced mistress of the gods. She's the one that knows the sound of the universe. And you can use the sound of the universe to bring you ecstasy or to rattle the pillars and foundations of earth, right? So this is what mantras and sound is about. Sound is what makes the cosmic move, cosmos move. What makes matter come into formation, right? And in the ancient Eastern people, your name, from culture to culture, the names varied. In Sumeria, in Sumer, you had Inanna, right? In Akkad, the Akkadians, they had Ishtar, right? And the Canaanites, like we mentioned, they had Enoth and Asherah, right? And this took on for millennia. This took place, but they were the goddesses of not just love but also war. And
I was going to say Inanna was a war god, right?
Yeah, they were also.
And I'm going to ask you something. Is this where they get, or they get the Marvel character Storm from? Do you think, do you think?
Yeah, they all that stuff comes from it, dude. They get all those names. You have characters that are named right from mythology. A lot of them. Yeah, and they weren't just war gods. They were also fertility gods. They were love and war, right? Like Sekhmet, she's the goddess of destruction and healing.
Yeah, and then there's like Ninmah, Ninmah, who is like the mother goddess. Supposedly, she gave birth to humanity.
Yeah. Yep. So all of those are like you have tetrads, right? You have tetrads that appear all throughout, and a lot of people talk about like trinities, but in fact, they're tetrads. They're creation tretzas. They might not be as common as people talk about as the triads, but they're found in sacred cultures. And there's a sacred, this tetrad has to also do with the tetragrammaton. Like there's the sacred fours, even the Dogon used the tetrad, right? So their creation that comes into play. Like in ancient Egyptian, you had the father god Shu, right? And his female counterpart was Tefnut, right? But these are the wind and the moisture of the cosmos, the wind and the mists of the cosmos. Shu is literally the solar and the cosmic winds, and Tefnut is literally the mists and the moisture of the cosmic clouds. Like, this is all plasma intelligences, and their union of Shu and Tefnut produced a sun called Jeb, which is the earth. So you literally had the solar wind coming from the sun. You had the plasma clouds, and this is what brought Earth and their daughter Newt, which is sky. So Earth and sky and Earth's magnetosphere, right? All of that was created by the solar wind, and that's literally how it happens. Shu is the solar wind, and Tefnut is the cosmic clouds, the plasma clouds, right? And they created the Earth, heaven and earth right there, which means the magnetosphere around Earth and Earth itself, the life on Earth. You can't. So that's how the magnetosphere forms, from the solar wind. The solar wind is what the magnetosphere forms, actually, from the spin of the Earth, right? And Earth's magnetic field lines that come from the spinning molten iron core. But what makes the shape of the magnetosphere and what stretches it out is the roaring force coming from the solar wind, from Shu. So if it wasn't for the solar wind, we wouldn't have a magnetosphere shape and everything. It's where we get most of the plasma from in our magnetosphere. Now, other planets like Jupiter, it's way different. Jupiter has one of the most biggest magnetospheres, and it's one of the biggest structures in our solar system. But Jupiter's magnetosphere doesn't get the plasma from our solar wind, from our sun. It gets the plasma from one of its moons, the volcanic moon of Io. So Jupiter, I actually did a remote viewing on this a little while back. There's a bridge from our magnetosphere, an unseen bridge from our magnetosphere to Jupiter's magnetosphere. These are Garudas. I call them, these are the Garudas, right? The Garudas of Vedic are magnetosphere. They're species of plasma, right? They protect planetary systems, these Garudas, and they eat Naga. They eat solar emissions, right? They defend from the Naga and even eat them, take them in.
The Naga are the snakes, and the Garuda are the birds, right?
Yeah, but what the Naga really are the information that's traveling through the cosmic waters, right?
Wow.
It's divine information that's coming from suns and stars, right? And they
Well,
move. It's the electricity that's moving through the plasma, right?
yeah,
And you
and
have
I got a question for you. Didn't you say that comets? I listened. I remember you talking about this on an episode of Leak Project one time, because I used to. That's how I found out about you, dude. I used to watch you when you were on Leak Project, like back before I even had a pod. Like or right around the time. Yeah, like.
some of my
But you
shows
were
on
saying
Lead
that
Project back in
comets
the
could
day
be.
did good.
Yeah, comets could be messengers, right? You said comets
They are.
can be messengers of information.
Well, people don't realize these comets are on mathematical precision orbits. They're not just random rocks flying around space. They are under divine control and guidance. They're on mathematical orbits traveling through space, right? We can time when comets are going to come back around, and they're literally messengers of the cosmos, right? And I've done remote viewings on them and have regretted it. Like I saw Tony Rodriguez a few minutes of his show prior, and he mentioned that he does remote view groups, and they're viewing like Comet Atlas, 3i Atlas. I don't recommend that, actually. I think it's very dangerous. I regretted it the last time I actually remote viewed a structure like that, and it was aware I was remote viewing it, and it was something that was void of empathy, of compassion, totally different consciousness of a human, more like an insectoid consciousness. So I do think that some of these things are being guided throughout interstellar space, carrying the components of life, gassing those components out, and seeding worlds. Literally seeding worlds, right? So if you have an intelligence that is now has no planetary system of its own anymore and is traveling inside a comet like this, which it can happen. You can literally have a little city inside one of these. I mean, Comet 3I is Atlas is bigger than Manhattan, right? So you can have a living organization. You can have a living civilization inside of there, right? I think that it's quite possible that there are caravans that are comets. Now, doesn't mean that they're not comets. Doesn't mean they're spaceships either. They can be a comet that's specifically sent to seed planetary systems and solar systems, and specifically made to outgas certain components and water and different elements of life to seed these worlds. Now, Comet Bernardinelli Bernstein is currently in the Dorado constellation. Now, the Dorado constellation, from different work that I've done with I used to do on my Patreon. We should start it again. I used to do the Quasar Network, where we did remote viewings of certain areas in the cosmos. This is why I sort of backed away from it, because I didn't want to put people in danger. I mean, people have to do it under their, because there's sometimes you got to remember, there's intelligences out there that when you start viewing something, they're also aware that you're viewing it. Right? So let me plug in my laptop for a minute.
Dude, I gotta, while you're doing that, like Derek wants me to ask you what you think about Rampage's son. I gotta ask you about that, dude. That was a fiasco, man. Like, I don't want to switch topics. Like, that was a whole fucking fiasco, dude.
He should go to jail.
He really should, dude.
Go to jail, bro. You could tell he wasn't raised by no dad. Rampage wasn't around for that kid. Rampage's in his life now, but when that kid was born, Rampage was going back and forth to Japan for years. Like he had a whole nother family in Japan. I've known, dude, I met Rampage at King of the Cage like 20 something years ago.
Really?
Yeah, I was with a girl at the time there, and he hit on the girl I was with there. I went with she wasn't really my girlfriend. I was like with another girl and a friend of mine, and he was like hitting on the girls that were with us. Like he already had his chain, bro. This was before Pride. Before Pride. Yeah. Oh man, I forget who he was fighting. I don't even know if he was fighting on that card, but he was at the King of the Cage show that I went to. Yeah, he oh man, yeah, dude, he hit that guy like 20 fucking something times when he was already.
Yeah, it's not even an MMA fight. It's a pro wrestling thing, which we all know is fake.
That guy, the guy that the guy let him pick him up, like, because he thought it was fake wrestling. Like he let Rampage's son slam him like that. So like that slam, he slammed him where his head went back and already knocked him out. The guy was already knocked out from that slam. Right? He gave him one of those Rampage slams, bro. He knocked, you know what I mean? He knocked that dude out because of his head slamming back. So that slam is what knocked him out. And then he fucking punched him 22 times while he was already unconscious. The guy flatlined for 6 minutes. They couldn't get him back. Dude, he's not going to be the same after that. He's going to have, he was already a veteran that had PTSD and stuff like that guy. So like, yeah, he's fucked. The Raja Jackson, I think his name is, Rampage's son, Raja. Yeah, he should get like 3 years in prison for that at least.
Yeah, because I heard he messed up that dude's whole mouth. I heard he like caused like serious damage and stuff.
Oh yeah, he knocked out all his teeth and shit like that. Yeah. But forget about, the teeth can be replaced, bro. His brain can't be replaced. Fucking that shit. He's gonna have brain problems, bro. I'm telling you, you can't, dude. Think about MMA. If a ref gets there late, you usually have between 1 and maybe 3 punches where if the guy's shut off, he gets hit. 3 would be excessive. Like, oh shit, that's really late. The guy got hit 3 times after he was already. This guy got hit fucking 24 times.
Holy shit, dude. That's insane.
Think
Yeah.
about somebody being unconscious and Britain freaking dude. He was mounted, dude. He wasn't tapping the guy. He had him. He was mounted, going. Duh, 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 duh. He had him, dude. He had him mounted, and he was unloading hooks on his face, dude. He's lucky he didn't kill that guy. That's attempted murder, as far as I'm concerned.
Wow.
That's a disgrace, dude. That guy should never be allowed to compete in combat sports or wrestling. He should be blackballed from everything. That is, how can you trust somebody like that to work for any combat sports or anything?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's insane, dude.
Especially because like there's supposed to be a code of ethics in martial arts. It's not supposed to be
that's the most unprofessional. I have been watching mixed martial arts before it was mixed martial arts. I mean, I remember when they called it NHB. I remember when they called it friggin' when it was Vale Tudo or No Holds Barred, they called it NHB, right? I've been watching it since before they had rules and before they had gloves, right?
Yeah.
I've been around since Pele and Macaco in Brazil, like the 90s, like when they first came out with the Vale Tudo, right? So I remember, bro. I mean, I've been in combat sports since 1990. You know, I started wrestling and in 1990, and I've been in combat sports since 1987. I started Ishin Ryu Karate, and I started competing in 1991 in wrestling. So I started competing in combat sports in 1991. So I've watched it and been right there for it all. Though that's always been my sport. I've always been into combat sports, wrestling. I mean, competitive wrestling, not WWF. You know, I've always followed wrestling, Muay Thai, kickboxing, MMA. I mean, and I watch like obscure MMA, even like people don't like different things that people don't even realize, like, you know, African promotions. And I even watch the Calcio Storico in Florence every year in Italy. You ever see that, dude? You know what the Calcio
What's
Storico?
that?
Oh my God, look at that up, bro. Calcio Storico. Calcio is CALCIO, and Storico is STORICO. Calcio Storico. So it's basically soccer, football, and MMA combined. So you have two teams, right? They get a ball. You got to run with that ball and put it in a little hole at the end of put it in the against the fence at the end of the sand lot. And it's right, dude. They make a huge field of like sand, and it's in front of the church, the Santa Croce Church, and they write in Italian like "Welcome to the gates of hell," right? And this has been going on in Florence for thousands of years. This tradition, right? So they have two teams, the Rossi and the blue and the red, different color teams, right? And basically, you get a ball, and you could run with it, you can throw it, you can kick it, or whatever but you got to take that ball and put it in the fence. But while you're going with the ball, there's two teams. That other team can fight you, can take you down, do submissions. They can brawl with you. They can.
What? Are you serious?
Yeah,
dude, that's insane.
It's an MMA fight plus soccer and football combined.
Dude, I've never heard of such a thing. That is so insane.
And it's no gloves. There's no nothing. It's just bare knuckle fighting. People got people in jiu-jitsu holds. You know, look up Calcio Storico.
Dude, that sounds so crazy.
They just had it every summer. They do it once a year. They have a tournament once a year. They do it. This one was like in the end of June. Actually, my nephew had gotten married and he went on his honeymoon in Tuscany, and he was there during the time of the. He didn't go. I can't believe he didn't go see it, but he was there on his honeymoon right during the time of the Calcio Storico. It's only once a year, usually at the end of June that they have it. I watch it every year. Dude, I watch it every year. It was the last couple of years. It's been sponsored by DAZN.
Oh, DAZN. Yeah, DAZN. Yeah.
Yeah. It was sponsored by DAZN. They aired it. Yeah.
Wow.
Calcio Storico.
What do you think of Kamzat, real quick? Like, do you think anybody's gonna be able to beat him?
Well, let me say my opinions on this real quick. So, I know what I'm watching. I'm not a casual. So it's impressive that he was able to do what he did and control somebody for that long. But he took almost no risks.
Yeah,
right?
that's
Right.
true.
When you got somebody in crucifix, right? You have to be able to finish the guy, you have to open yourself up a little to drop big bombs on him. But when you do that, you risk the person getting out. Right?
Yeah.
He wasn't doing that. He was keeping him really tight in the crucifix, pinned down, and barely moving barely hitting them. He was taking no risks. He was fighting almost scared in a way. He was scared to be in a position where he wasn't in control or complete dominance. Like I've said before with him, this guy only knows how to be the bully. He doesn't know how to be in an adverse position. If he gets bullied, he'll break, right? And I'm sorry, I don't want to watch a man control another man for 25 minutes. I want to see a guy go for the finish. He could have finished. Listen to me, Rob. He could have finished that fight in the first round if he would have took a little bit of a risk. He could have finished him, but he chose to be a weird creep and torture this guy and try to break him. Dude, he played with his prey. He literally was like a freak and just torturing the guy and tried to break him mentally and physically by keeping him in those positions for that long. Like he wasn't trying to finish the guy.
Yeah.
He wasn't going for submissions or trying to finish him, dude. He was just controlling him. Right?
Wow.
Like, imagine being in a fucking crucifix for 20 minutes and not getting finished.
Yeah, that'd be crazy.
What the fuck? Have you ever seen somebody in a crucifix that long?
No.
So many fucking times?
Back in the day, I remember in the old school UFC, like before, like you were saying, like I remember that guy, Orlando Veeder, I think his name was, or something. He had someone in a crucifix and he elbowed him that knocked him out completely.
Yeah, bro. You have to. Oh no, the one of the earlier UFCs, you mean?
Yeah, yeah.
That was the black guy. I forget his name.
Yeah, Orlando Veet, I think his name was, or something like that.
Yeah. Oh, okay, no, I was confusing it with.
I mean, I might have his last name wrong. I mean, but he is something like that. You know what I'm talking about, though, right?
I was confusing him with Gary Goodridge for a second. But you're right. You're right.
Gary Goodridge was crazy too. Gary Goodridge.
He finished somebody like that too. Gary Goodridge.
Yeah.
He finished someone like that too when he was wearing those gi pants. He was wearing one gi pants in one fight. Yeah, Gary Goodridge was crazy because like he had no martial arts skills. He was an arm wrestler. I don't know if you know that.
No, I didn't know that.
He was a Canadian arm wrestler, bro, and he just came into MMA and started fighting fools. And he did well. He had no wrestling, no experience when he went into Pride with fighting. He was an arm wrestler from Canada.
Wow.
Yeah.
Dude, that's crazy, man.
Yeah. I feel bad for him now because he's got CTE pretty bad, just like Ninja Hua.
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
Those before we get to the readings real quick, but if we have any, I don't know if we're even going to do them, but there were these tetrads, before to get back into what we were saying real quick before we go on, those tetrads are very important because those 4 creation gods is what brings the forces together, right? And the 4 that you were talking about related, where you had heaven is on, right? You got the great mother goddess Ninhursag, right? And then you got the god of the water is Enki, and the god of the air is Enlil. So Enlil is the god of the solar and stellar winds. He's it's the solar and stellar winds, right? And Enki is the god of the watery abyss. He's the god of the plasma waters. And when the plasma waters and the solar winds get together, they bring the light. They're the ones that form the magnetic field around Earth. They're the ones that bring Earth to life. Right. This is why they talk about this. Right. When you have Ninhursag, the heaven god, right, is the supreme ruler of the Sumerian pantheon. right? His place was An is the heaven god, right? He was the supreme ruler, An, but he was taken over in the Sumerian, right, by Enlil and Enki. Enlil is the solar winds, the air god, how they say it, right? And he's also titled the father of the gods and king of all lands, right? The father of earth, right? And he's also the god of wisdom. And also Enlil and Enki, right? Is he's called the ruler of the Absu, how they put it, right?
Yeah.
Let me show you where this comes from. The Absu is the abyss, the watery abyss, but that comes from, that word is a sound shift. Absu comes from Vedic apis. The Vedic and Sanskrit word, Sanskrit is the language of the Nephilim, right? Sanskrit is the language of the Asura and the Deva tribes. Ancient Sanskrit is one of the oldest languages on this planet, and a lot of the Rephaim and tribes of the giants, they spoke a very archaic form of Sanskrit, right? And supposedly it was almost like a gibberish type of sound, and it was in song and mantra form, right? And it wasn't used for communication the way we use language. It was to activate the cosmic forces and to manifest. It was to bring things. It was to make the light, right? In Egyptian, you have a word named Seshep, to make the light. This was also the name of the Sphinx. The ancient name of Sphinx was the Seshep Ankh, to make the light of the intelligence of the sun, right? So when you have all these cosmic forces, Enki and Enlil, I mean, those have to do with the solar wind and the solar waters, and all of this. I mean, and it goes the tetrads. There's other versions of the earlier Sumerian tetrad, like An and his three children, Ninhursag, Enki, and Enlil. The contradiction sometimes that they have to Ninhursag, they have both mother and sister and father and son. They always talk about it like mother and sister are also father and son. So how can this? It's not some incestuous earthly relationship. It's cosmic forces that are making a union to create. So it's not, you have these people in these scholars saying, how can this goddess be mother and also mother and father and also son and brother and sister together? Well, because they're not people. It's cosmic forces uniting, and they have it all over. You have the Hittites; they had their own tetrad. All those, you had the Hittites. They had the same thing. They had tetrads. They had storm gods. There was Taru. You had all these different ones. I forget all the other ones, but all of these, I can't even remember half the stuff that I remember. Sometimes I'm like, oh, I can't remember. I remember that. But Baal, he was called certain things in Ugaritic writings, right? They have what they call epithets, where things are put very similar to Vedic in song or poet form. Well, they'll repeat it multiple times in a verse, right? And they give various phrases for these gods. Like Baal is the bull of his father, right? Bull El. That's where you get Baal from. He's the bull of El, right? You have the bull of El, right? And Baal was also called Alian, right? He was called Prince, King. He's also called the Rider of the Clouds, very similar to Yahweh. Yahweh and Zeus and Baal, all storm gods who rode on the plasma clouds and brought cosmic rain, fertility, and storms, right? All of these, they're all goddesses of love and goddesses of war. And right now, we have these energies returning because we have a new creation time on the planet. 2025 is going to be a time of the externalization of the hierarchy. It's already begun, and I do believe Comet Atlas is related to this. And in 2026, we're going to see a huge thing with the Sphinx in Egypt. You see the Sphinx? If you look up the Leo constellation right now, it looks exactly like the Sphinx. Look up the Leo constellation, what it looks like. You look it up. You'll even share screen. You'll see it. It's basically what the Sphinx is, right? And next year in 2026, there's going to be an alignment with Regulus in the Leo constellation. I forget who it was that also had information on this. Brad something maybe. I forget who his name was, but I saw something about this a year ago. And I've had certain premonitions about some sort of alignment coming and something being revealed about the Sphinx making the light. The Sphinx used to be called Seshep, to make the light. And there's some kind of energy and technology that's going to reveal itself from beneath that Sphinx, possibly the right paw of the Sphinx, beneath the paws of the Sphinx. It's interesting that they have the Sphinx literally is a symbol for intelligence of the light. They called it Seshep Ankh, like I mentioned. It means to make the light. It's made right out of the earth, right out of the limestone, right? It's made right out of the bedrock. And between the Sphinx's paws, they made this granite tablet, right? Which is, it's like being squeezed by the paws. Now, what's interesting about that is that granite tablet has sacred writing on it as well, but the Ra Harmachis, right? But that granite tablet is made of granite, obviously, and it's got a lot of quartz crystal inside granite. And when you squeeze quartz, it makes light. It makes piezoelectricity, right? So it's interesting that they have this granite tablet being squeezed by the paws of the Sphinx, right? And I guarantee you that area is very sacred, and most likely before it looked like a Sphinx, it looked like a Vedic stupa, right? And then they carved it in alignment with the Leo constellation, with certain cosmic alignments that are going to happen every certain amount of years. And I think 2026 is going to be another alignment for Regulus in Leo with the Sphinx.
Wow, that's interesting, dude. That's
Yeah.
insane. Do you want to try to do a couple read? It's up to you. It's you feel up to it?
Are people asking for them? If they're not asking for them, then we don't have to do them. But
does anybody in the chat want a reading? Nobody donated, but I mean, I didn't really put it out there either. So, like, if anybody wants a reading, you can donate now, or you can just put your name in the chat, and we'll try to get you a reading.
And I got it with me too. Look at this bad boy,
dude. That's sick, man. That is sick. I want one of those. I got to get one of those.
Smoky quartz.
Wow.
One this size is about $1,000.
Holy shit, man.
But that is a really good price, because if you go to Leandro de Souza or some of the other master carvers out there and get one that's 10 pounds like this is, human size, you're going to spend between $5,000 and $30,000 to get something this big and that quality. So this is a
Sally
really good
says she'd like a reading. Her name's Tiffany in real life. She says, me. Did she want me to ask if she has a question or
check out this one. This one's fire quartz.
Wow, that's beautiful, man.
I had one. I do custom orders too. So like I had somebody do a custom order. They wanted Himalayan quartz with a third eye engraved in the forehead. And I never did one of those before. And I got it done. It was perfect, dude.
Dude, those are amazing, man. You were showing some really good products yesterday on your live stream. I was showing like that.
Yeah, bro. My store is now sponsored right on YouTube. So on my videos, my store will pop up. And dude, I got the best quality products on the planet. I've been guided spiritually. I've been working with crystals and copper for over 30 years. I'm 47 years old. I've been doing this since 1996. I've been working with coppers and I've been working with crystals since the late 80s, early 90s, since I started getting a crystal collection. But I've been doing specifically Reiki work since 1996. I have certificates. I got, all the certification that you need, but it doesn't need that. I have the experience, the life experience. I know what works and what doesn't work. And I come from a long line of mystics. Like Rob said in the beginning, I was born with a certain curse and gift to see certain things and feel certain things. I have a hypersensitivity. Many believe it's because I was born inside the cult still. I do believe that had something to do with it. And I've learned over 47 years of my life to not run from what I was experiencing, what was coming to me, but to embrace it and to try to use it to help people. And I've been guided to make certain types of crystals, Vogel wands, certain pendants, certain amulets, certain crystal skulls, because right now we are under a transformation of light coming from the sun, our star. And for us to be able to attune and discern the light that's penetrating the planet, we need clarity and we need tools in this cosmic frequency war that we're under. And these are tools for battle for our mind, body, and soul. And what's her name? Tiffany?
Yeah, Tiffany, and she wants to know. I'll put her question up on the screen, and she's actually she's a Pittsburgher like me. She's from Pittsburgh, and we're gonna hang out eventually. But she says, did I mess up? Should she mess up or make things better for her circumstances?
Did I mess up?
I think she's having legal issues with like her ex-boyfriend or something like that. So
wow.
she wants to know,
what's interesting is like I'm getting like you know, I always say like what it would be in tarot if I did it. It's like a symbolism that has to do with even I think in tarot it's the card of 18, the moon card. That would be like a moon, which means like I'm getting a symbolism for what I get. It's like a wolf in sheep's clothing. Right? That's certain forces, like unforeseen things are gonna come up, things like that. You know, and this is like the time where secret enemies emerge, you know, and I think it's like it's like this mysterious energy that's coming up now, right? And this is the time where she needs to really use her intuition. And I for some reason too, like I think like it would really be good for her to meditate and use crystals with phantoms in it, phantom crystals, right? And because these phantoms are going to help you reveal those hidden demons, those secret enemies that you got, those secret enemies, those secret things that might arise right now that's going to hurt your path. Phantom crystals are great with that. Crystals are made sometimes with inclusions in them, and sometimes these inclusions will look like a phantom of the crystal itself. So, like, say you have a crystal. I don't know if you guys can see what I mean. Let me show you.
This is awesome. This is awesome, guys. I hope everybody's enjoying this, and I hope you're getting some guidance, Sally.
Yeah, I'm gonna see if I can grab a phantom crystal for you real quick. Hold on. See if you can actually see one.
Dude, I see the book Mancorn in the background. Remember we used to laugh at? Oh shit!
Yeah,
dude, that's a good book though. Mancorn.
Yeah, that book is it's like a serious archaeology book actually. So
I know.
Yeah, this one is, look, check this out. Cannibalism and violence in the prehistoric American Southwest. This is the Anasazi and the Hopi, how they were cannibalized by their tribes, and then and they were worshiping the ancient god Masao, you know, where they were flaying their victims, dude, flaying their victims and doing all this crazy stuff, bro. This is a
dude.
crazy,
that's insane, dude. That's
insane.
Insane.
Even the bones in here were cannibalized, like chewed on bones. You know.
So Jason, my moderator Jason wants to know: are you running a special code for your store again for people?
Yeah, right now. Check this out. So if you guys even want readings, right now on my store, I have a package where you get 2 readings every month for a year. I have it originally up for $700. Where you get 2 readings, 24 readings for the whole year, 2 a month. But right now you can get 30% off of that as well. I even have 30% off of my regular readings, 15% off of thing. I have 2 coupon codes. If you spend over $150, there's a 30% coupon code. And if you spend over $29, you can get 15% off. But I also have products already slashed on sale. So there's some products that are 50% off. You can add another 15 or 30% off on top of that. So I have a huge sales up. My website has never been more fast than it is now, and really worked. My wife and I have worked very hard on our website. and my inventory and the products that I make. And yeah, it's incredible. We have all the carvings are done right in house by me and my team. All the wrappings are done
You
in house
just
by me and my
show you
team.
this. He sent me this as a gift. You know, this is a Herkimer diamond wrapped inside. What is that? Is that silver or what is?
That's silver coated copper.
Wow, that's cool. And that's a
copper.
Herkimer diamond, guys. And you can put that on a chain. So see, there's a little loop for it. You can put that on a chain and you can wear it. And you know, people told me I should wear this, but I keep it right beside my desk. And then wait till you see this, guys. This is amazing. This is just a little crystal skull, but I always use this as an example of some stuff that you can get at Ra's store. Look at the rainbow inside there. I got this for like $30-$40 or something like that, you know. It's amazing. I love this, and I even have the thing you gave me. I found it, dude. This is another thing you gave me for free because we're friends, you know. And it's a little another crystal skull, you know. It's just like dude, you can just get you can get amazing stuff at the Mystical Spiral store, guys. I back Ra 1,020%. Like, you know, it's not we're not just friends, but I'm also a customer. You know what I mean? And look at that, guys. Wouldn't you guys love to have something like that? It's so cool. And the energy comes off as if you're sensitive to energy like me, you'll feel the energy, you know? So I can tell you energetically charge these at the balance rock, you know? So like, I mean, this has a lot of energy in it for a little crystal skull, you know?
Hell yeah, dude. I have all price ranges too. You could get a crystal skull from $19 to $1,900. So there's all price ranges on there. I don't know if you could see, but this is a crystal that has phantoms in it. You'll see there's phantom pyramids inside of it.
Wow.
See those phantom pyramids? See those phantom pyramids in there?
Yeah. Dude, that's so cool.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, now what is that again, Ra?
This is phantom quartz, phantom ghost quartz, where you see all those phantom inclusions inside there.
Wow.
They're like pyramids. See their pyramids everywhere?
Yeah, that's cool.
It's a phantom of the actual structure of the crystal itself. See all those phantoms in there?
Yeah.
It's a whole bunch of pyramid phantoms.
That is so cool.
Yep. And this is a natural specimen right here. Look at. This is from the Himalayas.
Wow.
So, I think phantom crystals would be really good. I think though that I think she's gonna make things better for her circumstances. Ultimately, though, it's gonna bring her more awareness, more universal insight, more truth into her life. And I have a feeling as the journey has ended, type of feeling, like the circle completing itself. Like it would probably be that like you had the moon card and the world card in tarot, like those together. Right. Well, the world card is sort of like, the circle completing itself, the facts of life, things are learned, right? You gotta learn from this, right? You gotta learn from this, and you gotta be in tune with what's going on and adapt yourself to the changes that's happening. And these changes that are happening, they're gonna bring new ideas for you. I feel like that you can be a trend center as well. You have that way to start new trends. You have like you have the ancient adept in you. You have that spiritual initiate inside your past, where you can actually bring cosmic and spiritual manifestation through this change that you're under. So you got to literally master the world instead of letting the world master you, right? And I think that you were letting the world master you a little bit by this relationship, and rolling with the punches is not always. You can roll with the punches, but you got to actually, learn from these and be in tune with what's going on from you. And it's going to bring you more insight. And I definitely think working with phantom crystals will be a really good experience for you. And it'll bring some of those hidden, those secret enemies out, those secret things that are coming out right now that you need to know. Because I do feel that there's like some resentments and vindictiveness that might take place with this relationship as well. So be careful with that. Chlorite is what the word I was looking for. Chlorite phantom crystals. Those would be really perfect, right? There's what that means is that the inside of them, inside the crystal, is like a chlorite. It's one of the inclusions that's inside, and that brings self-healing. It brings connection with your higher self and nature and the earth and the spirits of nature. It helps bring self-healing and regeneration, right? So that I definitely think would be great for you. And you can combine those phantom crystals with a lot of other crystals as well. A lot of different, goes with all different types of quartz. It's a type of quartz. So I definitely would use also a pink quartz, like a pink lithium Lemurian quartz. Those are some really good ones right there. Pink lithium Lemurian quartz. I actually have some of them on my website. Some of them that I even ignited during the full moon of Lionsgate, and they've been ignited at the Balance Rock, red granite dolmen.
What was that green thing that you were showing? It looked like an obelisk yesterday on your live stream. It was called petrolite or something like that, or it was
yeah, presiolite, green
presiolite. Yeah, that looks cool. I'd like to get one of those.
Yeah, dude, those are very rare, actually. Green presiolite. Let me see if I have one available out here. I don't know if it's.
Wait till you guys see this. It's so cool. I thought it looked really cool. And then I also like those things you had wrapped in coils yesterday. They were really cool. Oh, I can't remember. I mean, you had a bunch of stuff wrapped in coils, but that was a great live stream, dude. We got to figure out how to get you live on TikTok too, because I bet you could sell a lot of products on TikTok. That's what people are doing nowadays. They're selling products on TikTok.
Yeah, I got to do that. This is green presiolite, which is a very rare type of material. It's I don't know if you get a good view of it here, but the quality is insane. You could just go on my website and check it out.
You know what we should do, Rob? We should just do a separate live stream on TikTok sometime. I can go live on TikTok. I'm allowed now. I can send you a link. We can go live on there. And then you can just do this, what you're doing on there, just go over a bunch of crystals, and we can try to sell crystals to a bunch of people, honestly, dude, it might help, because I'm telling you, TikTok is the world's marketplace right now.
What we'll do, if we do it on your platform on TikTok, I'll give you like a commission.
Yeah, dude, that'd be great. And you know what? I'm telling you, TikTok is the world's marketplace. People are on there selling, trading, all kinds of shit, dude.
We'll do it as a team. Like if you're gonna have a platform where you're helping me sell these crystals, we'll do it like as a team where you get a commission of what we're selling. Yeah.
We should definitely do that. Was that it for Tiffany, or that's the presiolite? Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, this is the green presiolite.
That's beautiful, man. That is beautiful.
If I can share screen, I'll show you like what they really look like and good pictures of them instead of my crappy camera.
You got to add it, and then I'll add it to the bottom.
Oh, I see it. All right, so now I gotta share screen. All right.
Oh yeah, I got it. Now let me add it.
Yeah.
I'm adding it now. It should be popping up any second.
All right, so if you guys can see it, this is my website here. The green presiolite, I mean, these are very rare. These ones were activated during Lionsgate. A full moon dolmen ignited this one. Check this out. Look at how the quality of these. Insane.
Wow, that's amazing, dude.
Insane quality.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, dude, these are insane quality. These are very rare. Green presiolite, you could look it up. Natural green presiolite like this is rare. These are rare. I mean, you could get cheaper towers, obelisks, like, this is a bloodstone obelisk, and this one's heavy. This one's over 5 ounces. These are more affordable if you're looking for a lesser price obelisk. But if you're looking for some of the highest quality of, to work with, go with like a green presiolite. They're very rare. Even the pink lithium quartz, these were all ignited during Lionsgate. And this is the pink lithium that I was talking about. These are rare pieces, guys. So these are It's a very good price for the rare piece that it is. Look at that clarity on that, dude. Insane. That's the pink lithium Lemurian. This is the trigonic record keeper because it has the rare sides, the rare formations on the sides. You got all sorts of stuff here. So this is my readings as well. This is the year-long package. You can get 30% off of that right now, but there's also readings. If you guys want like a cold reading, I have the telepathic cold readings here. But there's in the menu is where you can really look for different readings if you want to check just the readings out. So I have crystal skull readings, regular readings, telepathic deep dive readings, telepathic cold reading, and you can get 30% off of these readings and 15% off depending on how much you're spending. And I have all different crystal skull readings available as well. And everything here. I mean, if you want free information, I have all free information on my website. TheMysticalSpiral.com is all here as well. All this free info. And pretty much every type of crystal. We got clusters, freeforms, palm stones, skulls, specimens, obelisk towers, wands. We got tensors. We even have harmonizers to change your home. I have 2 harmonizers right now. This is a giant one. And you guys can get 30% off of this. This is a lifetime package. This one is huge. This is a huge 8-ring harmonizer, and it comes with a huge crystal skull. Really big harmonizer. It's like really big. So, and it's 8 rings. And then we have this one. This is a smaller one, but it comes with crystal packages, and it's 8-ring harmonizers, and this will change the whole energy of your house, your office, and it's a once a lifetime buy. They last for the rest of your life, and they're really incredible. And you can even get tensor pendants, tensor rings. I have all sorts of tensor pendants and tensor rings that you can get. So the combination of the two. This one actually is a package with a rare crystal skull, one of my Star Traveler skulls, and it comes with the large tensor ring as well. So you see the large tensor ring comes with the large tensor ring and the unique skull. Really incredible. Those are gem quality skulls, and you could get the crystal skulls wrapped in the Ra cubit, the royal cubit, all sorts of unique creations, all my own creations, all my own style. And I've developed the style over the years. I mean, we have all sorts of gemstones, energy devices. Look at these. This is antique copper with Herkimer diamond and elite noble shungite inside. Really incredible. Heavy gauge antique copper with you got a Herkimer diamond and the elite noble shungite. All sorts of stuff that you want here. Go to the main page. One of our most popular is my Kiwanis Pulsar Angel, the kyanite ones. This one's sold out already, but I just put this one up. This is the last one that was charged at the Balance Rock. Really nice piece of high quality kyanite wrapped in. This is over 40 inches of twisted silver copper. So the Ra cubit is 29 inches. This is 2 Ra cubits in this. So that's 60 inches. About 60 inches of twisted silver copper is in this. This is one of my most popular items is the kyanite Ra cubit pendants. They always sell out quick. But we have the golden fire heart pendants. Look at this. Only $40. Actually, it's $38 plus shipping. $44.44 for that. Incredible deal. So I highly recommend you guys get these. They will help you attune to the light. This one is already sold out. So we got all sorts of tensor tools, regular shop here. Everything you pretty much need. All very high quality, rare things. We even have gemstone skulls like this opal, fire matrix opal. You can't get a fire matrix opal skull anywhere
that's
else.
cool, man. That is really cool.
That's gemstone opal, bro. Look at
Wow.
this. Look at that. Wait till you see the colors in there. That's fire matrix opal. And all the flash is right above on the pineal gland of the crown right there.
Right? Oh, that's cool.
Right? It's really, really rare fire matrix opal from Mexico. And it's basically like a stand of a skull. Really rare. That's a big piece of gemstone as well. It's in its mother rhyolite rock, and it's incredible. Look at all those colors in there, dude.
That's amazing.
Yeah, you got to see it in person because it's like fire red, greens, yellows. Really insane. You can see just from the screenshot here. Look at that. Insane. I have other ones like that available as well. Even a scarab stone that I made of fire matrix quartz. Where is it? The scarab stone one. Here it is. So this is a fire matrix scarab stone. It's the shape of a scarab stone, like the ancient scarab stones, and it's got the fire matrix as a pendant, the skull pendant, and that's got all the opal flash right here. It's insane.
We have created here at the Mystical Spiral store our own modern version of the ancient scarab stone.
Look at that.
This is made out of the very rare fire matrix opal in its mother rhyolite rock from Jalisco, Mexico. And you can see the beautiful fire matrix opal gemstone all over the pineal of this scarab
right the white and all this stuff
stone right here.
Its mother rhyolite.
Nowadays they end up calling these cabochons, but this is the real
this is in its
version of a scarab
stone,
and we have
and
the
this
imprint
area is called
of
the fire
cosmic
matrix
rays
opal
in there. Look at
all
that
flash. That's the fire matrix
incredible
opal, which is the most rare
only at the Mystical Spiral store.
Look at that, like digital blue in there. Really insane. Really insane. You can't. And this is a scarab stone, the same shape as the ancient scarab stones. You guys can get very rare skulls. Look at this natural citrine. Insane. You know, I don't think people might not realize how rare natural citrine is out there, but natural citrine is actually very rare. And this is a huge elongated star traveler skull of natural citrine. Very rare. Wow. Leandro de Suozo would charge you way over $1,000 for this skull right here. You look it up online. You guys can look it up. But we got everything, every quality. We got pretty much anything you could want. Crystals. We got hydro quartz. Yeah, this is another fire matrix skull. This is a pendant. So the other one that you saw was not a pendant. This one is a fire matrix skull that's also a pendant.
All right, everybody, we have a gemstone skull here.
Insane. Cool. It's an actual gemstone skull. And look, these were charged at the balance.
Look at that rare color combo flash on this opal. Oh my God.
This is a megalithic dolmen where sacred alignments happen. And this bad boy, look, these were charged at the balance rock. That's the megalithic dolmen that looks like Sekhmet. Really cool.
That is cool.
All right, that's cool. I don't need to show anybody anything else. They get the gist. You guys can check out my website. It sells itself. I don't really need to do any sales pitch. I mean, the products, they sell themselves. You guys see the quality, and they're lifelong companions. You can literally go. You can get a pendant, or you can go spend your money. Like I have pendants. You know, you can get anything from $20 at $19 and up. You could spend that money on a sandwich. You know, or you can get something that'll be a lifelong companion, right? You can go spend money on like a pizza or like a couple of drinks at the bar and have nothing to show for it. Or you can literally go get something that's a lifelong companion that will help your mind, body, and your soul. And I could teach you how to activate and work with these crystals. And if you think that there's something evil about them, you're completely wrong. You know, the only way it could be evil is if you got evil inside of you. Anything can be evil. You can use a friggin' pen to write a letter, to draw something beautiful, or to write a beautiful poem, or you can use it to attack somebody. Anything can be used to wield evil. especially with crystals. I mean, if you could put thought forms into crystals. So if you got evil thoughts, yeah, you're going to amplify your evil. You're going to materialize evil. It shouldn't be used for that, right? Crystals should be used for positive thoughts, for healing vibrations, for courage, for truth, for strength, all of these, for abundance, right? So contact me. If you guys want to join my Patreon, you can contact me at patreon.com/themysticalspiral. I teach people how to work with crystals, how to get in touch with your telepathic side, because we all have a telepathic side. And if you get my full package for readings, for the year package, I also teach you how to do readings of your own. I teach you about the tarot. I teach you how to do telepathic tarot, right? And how to learn it. So contact me if you got any questions, Rob. I always appreciate coming on your show. We should do this a couple of times a month at least.
We had one other person who requested a reading. If you can do it, it's
yeah.
He lives in Australia. He has a traumatic brain injury. That's why his spelling's a little bit messed up. He has he wants to know about his living situation. He's actually like living in a van. You know what I mean? He does like van life, which is what a lot of people are doing nowadays. I heard a lot of people are doing that in New York too. Like did you know about that? Like
what?
Like the van life type thing where like people are like,
I know a couple of people that do it. Like I've heard about my friend Ray knows somebody that lives in Brooklyn in a van, but I don't know, dude. I'm the kind of person who likes having a home is very important to me. Like I like having a place I shower and my books are, my music, I don't know. I don't like just being in a car or in a van. Yeah. And I don't know if I could do it like that.
Yeah.
If I was by myself, I would be able to do it for certain periods of time, like traveling, but I don't know. But when it comes to Puck Elf, so I'm getting like feelings of disappointment and confusion, a hurt, inability to think clearly, and like symbols of health that bears watching, like possible illness as an escape from anxiety, frustration, disillusionment, disharmony, disruption. Almost like an 8 of Swords type of. If you were doing like a 1-card reading, I would be like, "Oh, you pulled the 8 of Swords card, right?" Now, the thing I'm concerned about is that it might have to do with not the living situation, but your health. That's almost like the vibe that I'm getting. So your living conditions might be causing adverse health conditions for you. That's the kind of energy that I'm getting right now. Emotionally drained of energy, exhaustion, right? And this is going to make you not be able to think clearly. So hopefully that things will get better. But I think that it's possible that financial situations might turn better too soon for you. Like I don't know, I'm getting like the honey jar symbol. So sometimes that is you got to be a busy bee. You got to get that, do the work to get the honey. That sometimes I get that symbolism. It has to do with that. So there might be a lot of hard work that it doesn't have to do with to fix certain things right now. But you have to take the initiative. You have to take a dedication to things, and to get ahead of the game with certain things. But I do feel that there's a possible that the living situations could be causing adverse health conditions. That was the symbolism that I was getting. So hopefully things are going to be for the better for you, man. If you want a private reading, contact me. I could do a lot better when I could sit with the information privately and I don't have to do it live on Wi-Fi like this.
Yeah. Yeah, it was amazing, man. I mean,
It's 11:11 too right now. 11:11.
Yeah.
And it's
well, it's a good time to
25.
Well, dude, thanks a lot, man. This was fun. I had fun, and yeah, we'll have to get on TikTok too, and like, you know, and do that, you know, for real.
For sure.
We should.
You know, maybe next time we could do a little bit more about some of the viewings that I've done, because I think it's very important what I said about Comet Atlas, that it might be a technology by an insectoid intelligence, that they're literally seeding worlds, seeding planetary systems with components of life, water, outgassing, all of these gases and water that they're expelling the elements of life that seed planets. Right. And I highly think it might be dangerous to try to view and contact these entities astrally or through remote viewing, because what I've witnessed before is that they don't have compassion. Like, they don't have the kind of intelligence that we do. We're much inferior. The compassion and things that we have make us inferior in certain ways when it comes to technological things. And they'll use technological structures in the universe to seed worlds, and they won't care the adverse effects it will have on us or anything like that. So, guys, you guys can get in touch with me. If you got any questions, check me out. Thank you, Rob. I really appreciate you having me back on. Love you guys, and Spiral out.
All right, guys, that was Ra, and you know, I got another busy day tomorrow. I know Anchor Haven's coming on for sure tomorrow, and then I'm supposed to have a bigger name guest tomorrow. You know, she verified, but then I just wanted to double check and make sure we were still on. So I'm still waiting for her to verify. So I'm not going to say who it is yet, but it is a she, and you know, I'm hoping she gets back to me, because it would be great. She's someone I really look up to in the industry, and yeah. So we'll leave it at that for tonight. And yeah. So yeah, I guess that's it. I'm tired. I don't feel good. I'm gonna lay down. These shows drain me anymore. I wish I had the energy I had when I was like 38 years old, where I could just like go work out after this. You know what I mean? But like, it's like 11 o'clock. I'm tired. I'm like drained. I'm like, man, I'm just like, I don't feel good. You know? I don't know. But you know, I just want to just like crash, I guess. You know? All right, guys. I'll see you guys tomorrow, hopefully, and I'll see you. Have a good night, everybody. Take care.